Nation of Fit and 10, welcome to day 33. And we are 2 days away from the halfway point, if you can believe it. And a reminder to you that your accountability to me is the most important thing in this program in terms of keeping you going and keeping you on the straight and narrow. So, a couple things here. Send me your weekly feedback. And number two, most importantly, send me your daily eating. Your eating is the number one. Your eating is the number one dictator, or eating will dictate whether you lose, maintain, or gain weight. Believe me, food intake is everything. You can exercise all you want and not lose weight, but you cannot do any exercise, watch your diet very closely, and lose weight. That's just how important diet is, okay? All right, let's get into some feedback here. This person writes, two things happened. So this is under additional comments or questions. Two things happened to me that affected me this past week. One, as I mentioned before, the calories from the exercise I was doing were added as extra calories to my available total in my MyFitnessPal, and I didn't realize it. I knew it felt like I was eating more, but I had no idea it was possible that my macros could be adjusted, and I didn't investigate. Okay, so yes, for those of you who are not aware of this, we may have talked about this in the beginning, but I think maybe if I did mention, I only mentioned it once briefly. It's hard to really take everything in at once, but just be aware that in MyFitnessPal, if you have a certain option turned on, and I'll point this out to you in 1 second, MyFitnessPal has the ability to detect either through your watch or through the phone itself whether you're doing exercise or not, and it will throw in the calories burnt as extra calories that you can eat into your total food for the day. We don't want this option turned on. So to shut it off, make sure you go into MyFitnessPal, go to the ellipsis at the bottom right corner, 3 dots, click on that. Go to goals, click on goals, and at the very bottom there's a phrase that says decide whether to adjust daily goals when you exercise. Make sure you turn that off, okay? So again, MyFitnessPal, ellipsis at the bottom right corner, click on that, then go to goals, click on goals, and go to the very bottom. There's an option that is titled decide whether to adjust daily goals when you exercise. Make sure that's turned off, okay? All right, second part of this question, and it's a bit personal, so I'm not going to read the details. But this person is going through some major obstacles, like various major obstacles. And so there's a lot going on. And as a result, this person has missed some exercise and has also indulged in some convenience and comfort eating. And this is typically what happens when people are stressed, and it happens to me too. I'm not immune to it. In terms of a feeling that you want to comfort yourself with these things. So we just have to kind of move past this. It happened. We got to move forward, and we can't look at stuff like this either as I failed those days or anything like that. We have to look at it as an overall process. And the process is going to have ups and downs. It just doesn't matter, what process you're working towards. There's going to be ups and downs, and that's part of getting from point A to point B. So you have to look at it that way, okay? So don't harp on those days. Just know that that's part of the process, and that's what's going to happen. It's never going to be perfect, okay? Very unlikely it's going to be perfect. All right, so just move forward. Don't worry about it. This. I know how you're all doing. This person's doing great, so just keep going. All right. Okay, how am I doing here? 4:34. All right. Kind of along the same theme here. This person writes, I injured my lower back somehow during a resistance workout. It is very discouraging. It loosens up when I exercise. So I've been trying to keep up with the workouts. I did the Thursday and Friday workouts on my own as I did not know how it would be doing Martinez workouts. I felt very discouraged, and as a result, my nutrition suffered for a few days. I was a little depressed, and I have a habit of finding comfort in food. I was 100% on track today and plan to work at it this week. Yeah, so again, more stress, more of a minor setback in terms of the injury, and of course we feel the stress from this, and we are all human, and of course sometimes we will resort to food and or drink or something of that nature, and I understand this. So again, just coming back to exactly what I said before, this is an overall process. We got to look at getting from A to B, and just know that during that we're going to have some falls, and this is normal. This is totally normal. Now, when it comes to your lower back, this is something that you're going to be more prone to if you tend to hold weight in your stomach. But also, this does happen to people when they exercise if they are not, if they don't understand how to brace through their midsection, and this is really, really important. So don't feel bad that this happened, and you may want to get, you can always ask Martina in class if she can just go through this again, but I'm going to describe to you what to do, okay? And this is super, super important when you're doing movements like squats, deadlifts, bent over rows, any kind of hinging motion like a stiff leg deadlift or a good morning, overhead presses, anything where you're twisting with your hands away from your body or weight away from your body, and that is the following. Okay, so you want to do this. Okay, so let me describe it actually first. There's two things you need to do. You need to brace your stomach. Okay, well actually, firstly you'll bring air in, and then you're going to brace your stomach. So I want you to fill your lungs with air. That's the first thing you do, and the second thing you do is I want you to brace the musculature in your stomach as though somebody were to hit you in the stomach. Okay, so what would you do? You kind of brace down, you kind of like make the muscles tight through your midsection. Okay, and a really good illustration of this is if you watch, especially with the breathing, if you watch a competitive powerlifter do a squat, you'll notice that when they unrack the bar and they step out, before they descend, they're going to take a huge breath of air in. And the reason they do this is to create that intra-abdominal pressure. That expansion of the air in the lungs, the expansion of the lungs by bringing in the air is going to help push against the musculature of your stomach, and that just creates more intra-abdominal pressure, and it helps stabilize your hips and your lower back. And it's a game changer. It is a huge game changer. So you're going to, if you watch here, I'm going to place my hands around my waist here, and then watch my hands. So you see my hands come out here. And then I take that air in, and then I brace down on my abs. And so, for example, today I was squatting, for instance, and every single rep, this is a major focus of mine. Okay, I am wearing a belt when I'm training because I'm squatting fairly heavy. So I wear a belt, and I'm pushing my intra-abdominal pressure against that belt and also bracing at the same time. And this is super important because, as I mentioned, we create that intra-abdominal pressure, and that stabilizes the back. It's like, imagine like an inflated tube versus a deflated tube, right? One is super floppy, the other one is nice and rigid. That's what we want to create. All right, 8:52, almost 9 minutes here. Let's get the message of the day. On this day 33, while one may encounter many defeats, one must not be defeated. While one may encounter many defeats, one must not be defeated. What's the other saying? We may have lost the fight, but we haven't lost the war, or something like that. We may have lost the war, but we haven't lost the fight. You know what I'm saying. So do not get discouraged if you get injured. Do not get discouraged if you have something in life that's getting in the way. These are all just temporary things. It doesn't stop you from continuing to try and to move forward, right? It's going to be a little bit of, going forward, maybe a little bit back, or maybe going forward and then pausing and then going. It's never going to be a straight linear progression, right? That's just the way it goes. It's just part of the process, and that's really just part of life. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for love, God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.